It's a little tough for everyday Atlantans, which are everyday Americans. When we have tariffs that have increased the cost of goods, whether that's at your grocery store or at your hardware store, or the cost that it takes us to produce an affordable housing unit. These things have increased under Donald Trump. And it also affects us right here at home because the CDC is headquartered here in Atlanta, and thousands of people have been laid off. And not only CDC workers, but other federal workers that work in various departments of HUD or in NIH-funded medical technology and research operations here, whether at Emory or at Morehouse School of Medicine, et cetera. So there's a lot of people that's looking for work because of layoffs and DOGE cuts in the city of Atlanta. And so we try to help them find new employment and for their skill set. And then also, just thinking about how there were projects that we had that we were looking forward to receiving the funds for, but those projects have stalled. The funding is questionable at this point due to various departmental cuts at transportation or at HUD.
I'd be curious to hear, Mr. Mayor, it's good to have you back. What programs are on ice because of this? And do you have the resources, the money, the programs to help these people who are in transition, who have been laid off at, for instance, the CDC or somewhere else in Atlanta?
Yeah, so some of the things that get very close to affecting us is around our transportation dollars, things that we have won, we've been awarded, and some of those came under the Biden administration, and they were for reconnecting communities. They were for various type of projects that might have had equity involved or sustainability involved. The IJA, for instance, these things, or the IRA as well, the Inflation Reduction Act, these things came under Biden, and so now they've been kind of stalled, and we don't know the future of these, which is tough to operate under, which is a project that we bid on, that we were hopeful to win, and they would provide a tremendous amount of connectivity for the city, and they are questioned at this point. So we haven't gotten an official letter that is no, but it's definitely these various grant projects have been put on stall, been stalled. And then so when you think about all of the above, as a mayor, we still have to operate under a balanced budget. That's our mandate. Right. I can't go into deficit spending, et cetera. So we have to balance our budget, which means either we have to make adjustments to our personnel or make adjustments to our service delivery or raise taxes, which of course is a last resort. So we are in our budget talks right now. We're on a fiscal year of July 1 through June 30th, and it's tight, it's tough. Luckily, over the past 3 years, we have a tremendous amount of reserves, and we have a AAA credit rating. So we're very proud of our financial standing. It just puts more burden down at a local government level.
Well, as you raised it, Mr. Mayor, are you expecting to have to do any more layoffs as you look at your budget?
Hopefully not. We are in good position right now. We did do a hiring freeze, and basically out of 9,500 employees in the city of Atlanta's employment, we basically said no one can be hired unless they get authorization from myself, the COO, or the chief of staff. And that was to make sure that we looked at every single necessary position, look at any kind of vacancies that were in departments, because we want to make sure we deliver the services that we've been known for delivering on time and on schedule and on budget. And so we're still doing a good job, but we definitely are watching every dollar out the door and every dollar in the door, because we know that we won't have a lot of backing from the federal level that we can depend on with certainty. Some of these policies, they get called up on a Monday, and then by Friday it's altered, it's renegotiated in some conversation in Washington. And so we don't want to make a knee-jerk reaction to anything, because literally 24 hours later, something that has been said in a social media tweet or post can be changed 24 hours later or 48 hours later. So we have to just kind of wait and see what's going to actually be real, what's going to be codified, what's going to be legislated by the senators and the representatives via the White House's ambitions.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'm trying to look over your shoulder there at the skyline to find the stadium here, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where you're going to be hosting a couple of World Cup games, actually more than a couple next year. How do you prepare for an event like that when you've got a hiring freeze and funding is in question?
Yeah, well, we're going to be very prepared for FIFA World Cup. You know, Atlanta does big events well. We've handled the Copa America the same night that we had the CNN presidential debate between Biden and Trump. The same day, I mean, literally, and we've hosted multiple Super Bowls. So we'll be prepared. We have about 700 police officers that will be working from the city right there for those each one of the event nights that we have. So we have 8 matches that we've won for the World Cup. So each of those 8 matches for the day before and the day after and the day of, we'll have 700 Atlanta police officers plus 200 to 300 more officers from surrounding jurisdictions. We have our mounted patrols that are here, the horseback. We will be prepared. We have enough officers. We definitely have done a good job since the pandemic of increasing the amount of officers that we have. We increased pay. We have a new Atlanta Public Safety Training Center that's really making them more prepared to do community-based policing. And so we are going to be prepared from a safety and security perspective. We even came up with this idea that I have called Showcase Atlanta, where not only are we just going to have folks go to this huge sporting event, but we also want them to get outside of the sporting event and go to the museums, to the art galleries, go to the restaurants, go to all the various communities around the city of Atlanta to be able to enjoy what Atlanta has to offer. So showcaseatlanta.com is where people are going to find out what local businesses and dining they can enjoy. So we'll be very much ready for that and we're hopeful that the federal government provides the funding that it said it would provide to all of these World Cup cities. Canada's cities have their money, Mexico's cities have their money, and American cities are waiting till August, September to be able to know what amount we will receive. Atlanta has the second highest most games, so we're hoping that we get an adequate amount of funding to support this. If not, we'll still do a good job, but we'd love to be supported and not have to put cash out of our pockets.